Judge Vanderbeek Court is now in session. Judge, this is case number JVB 1011, Berkeley versus Alberts.
Thank you. Okay, you all may be seated. Okay, Miss or Mrs.? Miss Berkeley, you brought this case before the court. What's going on?
Your Honor, I'm here to get custody of my grandchild and also to make my or soon-to-be ex-son-in-law to pay the child support. My daughter was diagnosed with lymphoma, and Your Honor, it was a long and difficult process, as you can imagine, and he wasn't up for it, and he left. And so I went and helped my daughter and helped my granddaughter through this process.
The courtroom opens with Ms. Berkeley standing before Judge Bundy, seeking both custody of her granddaughter and back child support from her late daughter's ex-husband. She reveals her daughter passed away from lymphoma and accuses Mr. Ehlers of abandoning them during the illness. She cared for both mother and child throughout the ordeal and now wants to make sure her granddaughter is properly supported. The emotional weight is clear. This is more than just legal paperwork for Ms. Berkeley. It's about stepping up where she feels Mr. Ehlers stepped out.
And they had been legally separated. He was paying child support, but when my daughter did pass away, I checked into the account. I had access to her financial business, and I checked the account, and he was not putting the payment in there. So I am looking for the back payments that are due, and I am looking to get custody of my granddaughter.
Okay, so let me just make sure I'm clear. Your daughter is deceased now.
Yes, ma'am.
And my condolences.
Thank you.
You're pretty much trying to step into the shoes of your daughter.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I understand.
I think it would be far more appropriate for me to be raising the daughter than for him.
Okay, why do you believe it would be more appropriate?
He has a lifestyle that I don't necessarily think is best for raising children.
Okay, well, I guess I'll get that from him.
Mr. Ehlers takes a stand to defend his position. He admits to separating from his wife, but insists it happened before her cancer diagnosis, and that their agreement included financial support, which he claims to have fulfilled until her death. He's shocked by the court case, claiming there's no one to legally pay child support to anymore. His tone is defensive but firm. Why is she trying to take my kid away from me?
Mr. Alberts?
Yes, Your Honor.
What's going on?
Some of those details are correct.
Which ones are not correct?
The fact that I bailed on my wife, our marriage was over a long time before that diagnosis, and we mutually agreed that I would pay child support, that I would support her financially, and I did until she died. And now there's no one to pay child support to, and I don't know why she's dragging me in here, trying to take my kids away from me. Talking about my lifestyle, saying I didn't love my wife.
What lifestyle is she talking about?
I don't know. Ask her, Your Honor. I really don't know.
What lifestyle?
Well, he spends a lot of times in bars.
Okay.
A lot of time in bars. He spends a lot of money on babysitting because he spends a lot of time in bars.
Okay. Going to the bar is legal.
Ms. Berkeley fires back, saying Mr. Ehlers is often in bars and leaves a child with babysitters. She questions his ability to provide emotional support, asking rhetorically, who's there for homework help or console a bullied child? Mr. Ehlers denies these claims, and Judge Bundy steps in, asking for real evidence. Ms. Berkeley reveals she calls nightly, and it's always the babysitter who answers. Suspicion is high, but proof is thin.
True, but who's going to be there to help with homework? Who's going to be there to hear the sad story of how she was bullied in class that day? A babysitter? I don't think so.
So are you always at the bar and leaving the baby with a babysitter?
No, Your Honor. Anytime
How would she know that?
Maybe because I call every night to say goodnight to my granddaughter,
Okay.
and it's the babysitter that picks up the phone.
Okay, so you don't necessarily know whether he's there or not, right?
Well, why would there be a babysitter there if he's there?
Well, I don't know, but I'm just saying, you don't necessarily know if he's present or not. You just know that the babysitter picks up, right?
Yes. Okay,
Okay.
technically, yes.
Okay, well then technically you don't really know what he's doing unless you are actually at the bar with him.
Judge Bundy challenges the grandmother's assumptions. Just because the babysitter answers doesn't mean the father isn't home, she says. The judge reminds her that without being physically present or having hard proof, she's speculating. Then comes a legal bombshell. The court cannot grant back child support payments when there's no longer a legal recipient. Her daughter is deceased, and she can't inherit that role without guardianship.
Or you have someone spying on him, which is completely wrong. But that really has nothing to do with why we're here today. His child support should have stopped because there is no one to pay the child support to. Your granddaughter lived with your daughter, right? At
Yes.
the time of her death? Right. So you can't step into the shoes of your daughter. The only other living parent is dad.
True, but Dad was not around for the last 2 years. I was.
Right, but the child now has been living with dad since your daughter passed away, right?
Yes.
And when did your daughter pass away?
About a year ago.
Yeah, your rights are not superior over his in this particular case. There wouldn't be.
Judge Bundy explains a core legal principle. Child support payments go to the custodial parent, and Ms. Berkeley, unfortunately, isn't one. With the mother gone and the father still living and now housing the child, there's no mechanism to force continued payments to the grandmother. The judge makes it clear. Empathy doesn't override legal standing. Ms. Berkeley is visibly disappointed but keeps pushing.
There's no reason why he should be paying child support to you. You had access to the account that the money was going into because of your daughter. But now that she's deceased, there's no one to pay the child support to. So he should not be paying child support anymore. So he did the right thing. You just may not agree with it, but
I do not agree with it, Your Honor.
why do you need the money?
I don't need the money. I need to make sure that my granddaughter is getting everything that she deserves.
But how would you know that if she lives with him? Now, if she lived with you, that would be valid. But if she lives with him, you can't necessarily speculate and say what he is or he isn't doing.
Well, I know what my granddaughter tells me.
Well, we're not going to go into that because children aren't very honest all the time. And how old is this child?
6.
Yeah, they have a very big imagination. So, I can't do anything about that. He should not be paying child support. And I'm assuming you cover the child on health insurance?
Yes, Your Honor.
The only thing I can order, pretty much is that he maintains that.
Pressed by the judge, Ms. Berkeley insists she doesn't want the money for herself, only to ensure her granddaughter is cared for. But Judge Bundy asks, how would you know what she's getting if she lives with him? The grandmother tries to base her concerns on the child's comments, but the judge dismisses it, reminding the court that 6-year-olds often embellish or misunderstand. I can't make a ruling on a child's imagination.
Child support, the medical support on the child, but other than that, and that's through your employer,
Yes.
that's all that he can be ordered to do. I'm not going to make him pay child support for a child that belongs to him and that lives in his house.
Fine.
Okay. Is there anything further from you?
No, Your Honor.
Anything else from you?
What if the child wants to come live with me?
Well, she's 6 and you're not her parent. So she does not get to make that call. Now, dad starts doing something, like if it's actually proven that he's being neglectful and going to bars or anything like that, and the child ends up living with you, then yeah, but you're not the parent. So unfortunately, I can't do anything about that.
Right.
Okay. If there's nothing further, you all are dismissed.
As the case winds down, Judge Bundy confirms the only enforceable order she can give is for Mr. Ehlers to maintain medical coverage through his employer. Since the daughter lives with her father, and there's no legal proof of neglect or abandonment, there's no case for custody or financial redirection. It's a harsh legal reality, but the judge remains firm and fair in explaining it. She closes the session by reiterating that unless the father becomes neglectful and the child ends up with the grandmother full-time, the court cannot intervene. A post-case summary confirms Texas law halts child support when custodial parent dies unless guardianship shifts. Ms. Berkeley walks out with no financial relief and no custody, just concern. The gavel may have dropped, but her worry clearly hasn't.